welcome back to another episode of NFT Artist Spotlight, hosted by AstroZero. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.
Tonight on AstroZero Twitter Spaces, we have a really awesome Polygon artist that's joining us. He goes by the name Mr. Chief, and he's the creator of the Shlime Buddies project. So welcome to our space, man. Glad that you gave us a little bit of your time today to come talk to the community.
Thank you for having me.
So can you give us a little bit of what Shlime Buddies is and why you decided to create them?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So there's actually a backstory to the characters. So it pretty much starts with me. I'm a dad of three. Two of my kids were premature. One of them, my oldest one, was 28 weeks, 1 pound and 8 ounces, and my youngest was 26 weeks, 1 pound and 2 ounces, and he was in the NICU for about 8 months. When he finally came home, they sent him home with a heart monitor because he would forget to breathe. And that's why he took so long in the NICU. So if you're unfamiliar what the NICU is, they basically watch the babies until they're ready to go home. So because he would forget to breathe, he took that long in the NICU. And, I had to leave him at the hospital. Obviously, like, you can't stay there. You get visiting hours. I mean, as a parent, you get to go there 24/7, but we still had the other two at home, so it was kind of tough to go back home and knowing that he was, going through this. So like I said, when they finally sent him home, he came home with the heart monitor, and it was tough, to cope with the fact that he couldn't breathe, even though the heart monitor was super loud and it didn't require much to get him to breathe again. It was just literally like touch him in the hand or in the head, rub his head, and he would kind of snap out of it. So during this course, it was tough to sleep or leave his side. And the doctor recommended we get, stuffed animals that were fuzzy or furry to leave him by his feet. In case he moved, he would always kind of feel something and hopefully kind of narrow down these episodes. So during the course of him having the heart monitor, I would just draw because I would always be with him or on his side. And I would just kind of draw and started drawing these heads that kind of looked like some of the stuffed animals he used to have. And it started off with just like the 4 or 5 heads. I think the ape, the bear, the cow, and there was one more. I can't remember the other one, but that's pretty much how I drew the characters. Oh, and the dog. The dog was completely different color, but yeah, that's pretty much the first characters, and they were only heads, and I made them into Discord emojis. And my buddy not too long ago is actually the one that started getting me into NFTs. And he said, why don't I make them into NFTs? So I started pretty much building based off those heads, so I made more heads, more bodies, more assets, more items, all that good stuff. So that's pretty much where the characters were born from.
So is this the first NFT project that you've worked on, or have you been at least involved in other ones at some capacity, or is this a fresh start for you?
No, this is definitely a fresh start. Most of everything is all new. So when he told me about it, we just started researching, reading on it. We ran into F first, and we were like, this is ridiculous on the gas prices, and just kind of researched from there, really. But definitely my first project.
So going into the gas prices, did you kind of immediately look for some sort of alternative to get around Ethereum? Or I know a couple artists that I spoke to, they didn't really know about other things like Polygon. They kind of, when they just started, they were like thinking like ETH is what you do and this is it. So How'd you find out about Polygon? I know you said you're brand new, so you haven't minted yet, so you don't really fall into that category. But was it just from like listening to people in spaces and people complaining about, these gas prices are three times as much as the NFT that I'm trying to sell?
No, it was just constant reading and researching really. To be honest, like I started drawing and building the bodies and the heads, and and I was like, I would even tell my wife, I'm like, I guess you got to pay a bunch of money, to get one NFT out. It's like hundreds of dollars. Like, so I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I continued to draw, and I think my buddy might have been the one that found it out. I don't remember, but either way, we were both working together to research more and more. I didn't even start Twitter until Thanksgiving, so by then I think we already knew about Polygon, and I think for that month I was just kind of watching, what people were doing and kind of taking it all in.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly when Polygon started on OpenSea. I want to say it was summer of last year in June, or I can't really remember exactly when. So you kind of stepped in at the right time where you could kind of avoid, those crazy gas fees. But I know people like that started up projects and they're trying to sell an NFT for $30 and then the gas is $300. And I mean, like, I would much rather the $300 go into the artist's pocket and then I pay $30 gas. Like the other way around, I'd be perfectly fine with. But the fact that the artist is getting $30 and then I got to pay miners $300, it pisses me off, and like it kind of discourages me from even really wanting to buy the art. And I just don't think that's right. I mean, Polygon's kind of serving a purpose to help people from all sides, and I'm glad that people are starting to come around to it. Did you kind of stumble into the Polygon community and Polygon Alliance like by accident? How did you find the spaces? Like I know like Dave and Beluga pretty much are the people that really kind of got a huge push in this. Did you just kind of stumble upon one of their Twitter spaces one day and then became a part of the community?
Yeah, so like I said, I would just kind of search on Twitter NFTs and stuff like that, and I started, like I said, I think things from Thanksgiving, I think until that whole month of December, I think I was really like just, to be honest, kind of know how Twitter works because that's the first time I even got Twitter. I'm a big Discord guy, so I was trying to learn how Twitter works and what people are doing, and I would search NFTs and stuff like that. So I think I ran into Beluga first, and he had like a midnight show your art or something like that. It was like midnight. So I sat there laying in bed and I'm just like, should I get up and put my images on there, And I was just saying, I debated it for so long. It turned to like 2 a.m. I finally got up, posted on his thing, and he followed me, and like I was excited, right? So I was like, I was new to it, and I think at the time he had like 8,000 followers, 6,000, 7,000, something like that. So I was excited, like, oh, this guy Beluga. I even told my buddy, this guy Beluga followed me. He's got like 7,000 followers, So I kind of started watching, who's associated with him, kind of what's branching out from him, I guess. And I started joining his spaces, and that's kind of pretty much how I found out about most of it.
So, would you say that the Shlime Buddies was um, kind of like a grieving or coping mechanism for you in order to get this project launched, or is it? Yeah, I guess that's my question. Is it first and foremost like a way where you kind of was able to deal with the stress of what was going on with your child and not really thought about anything as far as like I could possibly make money doing this or make a full-time job out of this?
No, so like the I think I forgot to mention the characters were done a long time ago. Like my son is 6 years old now, so he's pretty much overall healthy, And during the time of what I should make, I just kind of thought about the heads that I had made, and it just kind of branched out from there as well, But no, it wasn't like to cope with it because, like I said, he's 6 now, so um, it was just something that was interesting, the NFTs. So I kind of wanted to get in on it as well, just like everyone.
Yeah, it definitely took off really, really super fast. I think it took off a lot quicker than a lot of people were expecting. I mean, they've been around for years. It's not like it's a brand new thing, but just the popularity behind it. I mean, you see some of these NFT projects from January of last year or February, a year ago today. Like some of these projects were barely known, and now they're trading for hundreds of ETH, which is just crazy. Um, but you know, trends happen, and it's a good thing that it's happening because it's giving people a stable income. It's giving people opportunities that people didn't have necessarily a year ago. Some people were you don't know what you're going to do for a living, and then the next thing you know, you start just selling your art online, and now you're set. So it's pretty cool. Is it something that you maybe um, if this thing takes off, would you consider it becoming like a full time job, or are you going to kind of just set it up as like a supplementary income?
No, for sure. I mean, I would like it to be a full-time job. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's already a full-time job now, like trying to grow and trying to get out there definitely requires a lot of time. And I've been, to be honest, putting a lot of time into, trying to speak in spaces that sometimes I psych myself out, but, for the most part, I'm definitely trying to get out there and trying to make my mark. And like you said, hopefully blow up and become a full-time job.
Well, just look at it like this is practice. Practice makes perfect. So I mean, you're doing fine so far, so I wouldn't stress too much. Let's get into the project itself. We'll start talking about Shlime Buddies. Um, so, what's the total release number that you're going to have once the collection is finalized?
1,000. I plan on doing waves of 50. But yeah, the total amount is going to be 1,000.
Now, is there going to be a time frame split up in between this? Like, are you going to release 50 this week, 50 next week, or are you going to do release 50 once those 50 sell out, then you're going to start like the second bit of the collection? What's the idea that you're doing with that?
Yeah, that's I think touching base with the community. That's why I really want to get the community of 100 members, active members, hopefully, and holders. And once that's kind of settled with the first 50, kind of touch base on what they want to do. If they want to wait until I sell out the first 50 to release the next 50. I mean, personally, I would like to sell out the first 50, but I yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I would like to sell out the first 50. I mean, everybody does, right? But I guess really to just honestly touch base with the holders and the community and see what they want to do.
Have you considered maybe, I know like Potent Potions, for example, when he did his first series release, everything was an airdrop. Did you consider maybe doing that as like maybe a marketing tool? Maybe your first 50, you just designate towards contests in order to maybe build your community or some sort of giveaways, and then maybe doing a lower mint price for your second 50, and then progressively going up to a floor price that might be um, what you kind of have as your liking. Any type of marketing strategies that you could share?
Yeah, that's actually what I did do. I did collabs with Taco Tribe, Ramen, Beluga, and Jay with chickens. So what I did was basically everybody that was in their Discord and my Discord. So if we had a mutual Discord, they would get whatever pet, um, like a pet beluga if they were both in his Discord and my Discord. So the first 50 are already out. They were released and about 40 something were already dropped, and some of them didn't claim their prize, which is fine. You can't really chase them. So we voted, and it was just kind of like just give them away, do giveaways, and keep it rolling.
Yeah, I think like I always say that that's such a huge advantage that you have as a Polygon artist, where you could afford to airdrop collections and you could do giveaways and stuff like that, and collaborations, and you could do seasonal giveaways, like if you want to do you know a Cupid Shlime buddy for Valentine's Day or something like that. You have the chance to do that, and it's not gonna really cost you anything. It was pennies really to airdrop these to people and do contests, and you get your name out. I think it's you know uh, Polygon is definitely more artist friendly when it comes down to it.
Definitely. And the way I have my contract set up is, and the initial thought was to be generative, and I kind of, to be honest, like I hated that I didn't have control over what it was making. Like you have control somewhat when it's generating, but for my first release, I wanted to put really a lot of thought in each piece that came out. So the way I have it set up, like you said, I could do holiday ones or more collabs, or it leaves the doors open for me.
Now, I'm on your OpenSea page right now, and I see like you have the 50 items numbered, and like number 16 is the cow, and number 20 is Pikachu, and then 19 is a pirate. But then there's one on here where it just says promo. So is that what you were? How is that working? Is that just kind of like what you mint off the website is what you get?
The promo one is just exactly that, kind of like a sneak peek. The reason I did number one as a promo, because since I was going to airdrop them, I didn't want people to be, I know sometimes the people want number one of that collection. So so people wouldn't feel that I favored someone over another person, I kind of put a promo GIF as number one.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. So is everything here? It's all hand drawn. What type of programs are you using? Using like a Illustrator or using Blender?
I use a combination of a couple programs. It's like Paint and GIMP for the most part, though most of it is GIMP, but some of the painting I like to do with like Paint, and I believe it's called Paint 3D, and that's just to kind of give me the crisp lines on the sides to kind of clean it up a little bit more.
So how long did you start working on the project as far as converting it into like NFTs? Like I know you said you drew the heads a long time ago, 6 years or so ago, but as far as really getting it started as a launchable NFT project, putting the bodies on, getting the backgrounds and everything set, when was the start date approximately? Did you start in November, December?
Yeah, like even the heads, even though I did have them, they got modified a little bit, but for the most part, I don't know. I think it was, I use Thanksgiving a lot as my as kind of a way to, as my bracket of timing or whatever. I think it was like probably 3 months before Thanksgiving, I want to say. So whatever that month lands.
So is the full 1,000 pieces already set to go, or are you have to like work on them over time? Like you only have like the first 100 ready to go, and then as you kind of make your way through the project, you're gonna keep making more?
Yeah, the plan is to keep making more. I do have like the first 50, but that's what I'm saying about having that control. I could, change them up if I want to, or if a collab comes up, I could add it onto it before I release it. And, or I could build more assets down the line, depending on what people like or what I see that people want. So yeah, I plan. That's why it's in waves of 50s to give me that option to either add or collab in between sets.
So the question that I have for you, do you have like some sort of spreadsheet or um some sort of tracker where like, all right, I already made a cow with headphones and a hat, so you don't duplicate it down the line. So like if number 50, let's say, is a cow with headphones and a pirate hat on, and then you get to number like 782, and you're like, I'm going to make a cow with headphones and a pirate hat on, how do you avoid duplicating an NFT?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was gonna do. Exactly what you just said, a spreadsheet of some sort. I know I'm not worried about the first 50 at all because they do have the pet, and those are the pet for the collabs, should I say, and those will never get released again. You know, that combination is not ever gonna come back, you know. So, but yeah, exactly what you just said. I plan on doing a spreadsheet so I don't duplicate them at all.
Now, is the background color one of the options that would differ between NFTs? Is that one of the traits that you're building into it, or is the background color just completely random?
I choose the background color too, obviously. Yeah, I would hate to have, like you just said, a kind of a similar image, but just a different background color. Gonna avoid that as much as I can.
So, how's the Polygon community been treating you? Do they seem very supportive and behind you all the way?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, they're great to, I learned a lot from them, or just being in the spaces, or just different projects. But for the most part, like, I think Dave's been great, Beluga's been great, Sleepy's been great, you know, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel the support behind it.
So, on your website, I see that I think I'm getting rugged. You gotta be joking with me. I don't think. Hang on one second here. I think I'm back. I am back. All right. So on your website, it had mentioned something called the Schlimeverse. Are you going to put these in the metaverse eventually?
That's the goal. The thing is, like, I'm not sure, like, I plan on being in this in the long run, right? So whether it's this project or another project, or I use this project to fund the next project and reward the holders of this project, you know, it's definitely something that will come along the line and an option. But the reason I don't say anything right now is because I don't want to over promise, I guess, and not deliver. So I want to get the wheels rolling, and then as I grow, so like it says in my website, my options will grow, you know, and what I can do, and then I could kind of talk to the community what they want to do, you know.
Do you have any plans for some sort of like initial benefit that a holder would receive from buying one of your Shlime buddies, or is that going to kind of be determined after you have a set amount of people and you do some sort of voting process on your Discord?
Yeah, so that's where like I said, the community comes into play, so I could hear what they want, because as you just said, it's growing. This has been around for a long time, so it's growing and at a fast rate. So what I think is, I guess, in or hype at the moment doesn't mean that once I get to 500 sales, it's going to be the same thing, you know? So that's definitely why I'm so stuck on building the Discord community.
So I'm talking to Mr. Chief. He's the creator of Shlime Buddies. If we get 100 people in his Discord, he will launch the project. He's waiting for that special number to get this up and running. So if you haven't joined his Discord yet, please click on his Twitter profile and join. And hopefully we get this thing launched by tomorrow. I think we're at, let me see how many people we have in the Discord right now. I don't know how to tell. Oh, 95 people. So we need 5 more people in Discord. So if you guys have not joined his Discord, please click his Twitter profile. It's right in his bio. Join the Discord. Let's get this thing launched. Let's get another Polygon artist out there. It'll be his initial launch of his project. The website is Shlime Buddies. SH, like sh, and then lime. So shlimebuddies.com. So was it difficult for you to do the creation of the website? Did you have somebody do that for you? I know you have a minting DApp right through your website. Is that something that you created, or did you have outside help in order to do this?
No, the minting dApp is pretty much like I think it was from hash lips that I obviously changed to fit my project. But everything I did myself. Everything you see, it's just all me. Yeah, the website I did it myself. All that.
I like it. I mean, it's very just straightforward, and it has everything you need for an NFT project. So you did a good job. Is that something that you have experience with outside of NFTs, web design?
Yeah, so I've actually done stuff like that for unrelated things like this. It's not that I did it as a career. It's just pretty much self-taught that I kind of continue to mess with HTML or coding or, Node and stuff like that. So I'm very, when I seen these things and I was like, yeah, I could do this, I'm very familiar with this.
So if anybody has any questions for Mr. Chief, feel free to raise your hand. If you're down bottom, we can bring you up if you request, and you can hit him with some questions that you guys might have, or any shout outs or praise or whatever you would like to give. Um, so are your kids involved in the project now? Do they give you any like sort of feedback as far as like what they like as far as the Shlime Buddy might look, or do they kind of do little doodles with you and try to help you along the way?
I try to tell them to learn how to draw so they could help out with some of the items and they try it for a little bit, but they definitely, tell me what looks good, what doesn't, or ideas on, some of the bodies or what they should wear. They're definitely involved. I think, like I said on the website, I don't know if you saw it down below. We're eating and it becomes a discussion on the table, or they'll tell me what to change and stuff. So it definitely became overall a family project.
How old are your kids?
Now my oldest is 18, the middle child is 14, and my youngest is 6.
So if they had to, let's say your 6-year-old, if he had to pick the favorite one out of all of them, which line buddy is his favorite?
I think I got the most reaction out of him with the cow. He sat there laughing about it. But yeah, I think it's the cow. But as I show him different ones, he'll say, this one's cool or that one's cool. But the most reaction I saw out of him was when I showed him the cow.
Now, I'm not really, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know how any of this like legal stuff goes. But um, most of your Shlime buddies are very original. The only one that I'm concerned with is
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Now is that something that you thought about with it? Because I know Pokemon are a bunch of pain in the asses when it comes to the likeness of their characters and stuff like that. So is that something that you're maybe concerned about a little bit, minting that specific one?
I was, and I did, and I think it was a battle between myself if I should move forward with it. I think most of the time what I've been told. It's sometimes it's like as long as you don't call it actually Pikachu, and sometimes it's like, oh, you're just expressing yourself. That's just your art. So I am, like you said, I'm not a lawyer either. I have no idea what I went based off of is everything I saw on OpenSea. Like I saw Avengers, I saw Nintendo, I saw all sorts of characters. So I'm like, I guess one Pikachu's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, I know there's like likeness laws where as long as it's not 50% of the or 20% of the actual likeness, I don't really know. But I was just curious if that's something that you took into consideration. I know we had Pika on last, not Pikachu, Pika the artist from Tunisia was on with us over this past weekend, and he does like complete portraits of like Ice Cube and Freddie Mercury, and it's something I wanted to ask him as well because who really knows? Like if a piece blows up, right? That artist or the person who created that animation might want a chunk of it. They might send you like a cease and desist letter. or whatever the case might be. So I think it's always something that you kind of got to keep an eye on and just be safe about. But I mean, it looks like Pikachu, but you're not calling him Pikachu, so I think you might be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, I think for the most part, I think that's the problem, right? Like it's not an issue until it blows up. Like you said, if that image blows up, then they're definitely gonna come after you. But what I don't understand about with the living in the blockchain, if I had Pikachu on my website and I got a CND and they told me take it down, I can take it down. But with this, it's already out, you know. So I don't know how that would be handled, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of gray area as far as blockchain goes, so we'll just have to deal with it when the time comes. That's all. Have you decided on the price that you're going to start this first minting series at?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of 5 or 10 Matic. I think for my first release, I'm gonna do 5 Matic just for the holders that came in and believed in the project. Get them started at a decent price and affordable.
Are you going to be accepting Matic directly, or do they have to use Wrapped ETH?
Yeah, it's Matic directly.
That's nice. I like that. You don't have to worry about doing any bridges or anything like that. So that's pretty sweet. Going back to your utility with the project, where we were saying that the NFT is going to kind of act like a voting privilege for the holders, determining what type of utility or what route that you're going to go with the project. Now, let's say somebody holds one NFT and another person holds five. Does the person that holds five get 5 times as many votes, or is it just going to be like wallet specific?
For now, it's just wallet specific. As far as the utility, like I said, I have a Discord and holders do have currently a private channel. But yeah, that would all come down the line as far as if you hold more than five, or like you said, one holds 10, five, or whatever, then that'll all come down the line.
I saw somewhere on your website, I believe it was, that it says that you have mini games that are going to be incorporated with the project. Are these games that you have available on your Discord, or is this something that you're going to develop in time?
They are actually on the website right now. If you go down to, I believe, the Connect section, underneath the Discord and Twitter and OpenSea images, it says quick links, and it's like a matching game and like a Flappy Bird remake or modified. I put a rocket ship in space, and the Shlime buddies are on the window riding the rocket ship, hopefully to the moon, right?
All right, I see it now. I don't know why I didn't grasp that. I'm playing the matching game right now as we're speaking. So, do you plan on doing any type of these games that are gonna, be some sort of incorporation with a reward system or anything like that, or is this just something to pass time and kind of de-stress from the day and kind of defrag your brain a little bit?
A little of both. I have them there, like you said, in case people are at the airport or whatever want to play something. But I did do giveaways based on the games. I did whoever got the most on the, like I said, the Flappy Bird, or I called it Slime Buddy Space Adventure. Um, I did a giveaway whoever got the highest score, and I think somebody smashed it, and I don't even know how they did it. I think they got 120 or something. And same with the matching game. A few people got 100 out of 100 on the hardest setting. So I think it was two people that tied at 100 at 100. So I had to, do the spinning wheel price. But yeah, I've done giveaways already for it, for using those games.
So once you hit 100 Discord members, let's see if the numbers went up. It hasn't. It still hasn't gone up, guys. Come on, you're all slacking. Get in his Discord channel. Get it up to 100 members in there so we could get this thing launched. He's not going to launch it unless we have 100 Discord members. Click on his profile. Join the Discord. So when you hit 100 members in your Discord, are you going to do some sort of like whitelist, or is it just going to be we're ready to go and then we launch?
Yeah, it's gonna be we're ready to go and we launch, no whitelist. But there's still gonna, even if I hit 100 right now, I'm not gonna release. 2 hours from now, I'm gonna kind of strategically try to launch. Think about my options, or talk to some people, maybe a few days, a week, But the whole point is that we got the 100, and now we can move forward with the process of when we're gonna mint.
So I know it kind of matters a little bit more with ETH because with ETH you kind of have to determine your launch if you're a smaller project or a newer project. You kind of have to determine your launch around what the gas prices are at. Now, with Polygon, you don't really have that concern because we don't really have to worry about gas as far as starting a project up. The question I have though is, in your head, is it better to launch a project midweek? Is it better to launch on a Monday? Is it better to launch at sometime over the weekend? What would be the best thought process in your head of when to really start the project?
So I plan on releasing when I release, definitely a weekday. I notice Twitter is a little more busier on the weekday, which kind of makes no sense to me because people are at work, but I guess, maybe they're avoiding working, but I definitely see Twitter, busier during weekdays. So it'd definitely be a weekday. As far as time, I think my thought, I think, somewhere between 2 to 5 p.m. And definitely, I don't want to launch like you got Beluga about to launch his Doodle and then you got Coin that's about to launch, February 11th. So that's why I say like I got to kind of strategically move on and about it, and whether it's between them or after them, got to give them their shine, let them have their shine as well, and you know,
Yeah, I don't know if we necessarily do this. I could be wrong, but um, do we have a calendar lined up for all the artists that are going to be releasing on Polygon so we kind of don't take the shine away from each other?
I
Have you?
don't I don't think so. I don't think we do. But I keep stuff in mind. Like, okay, even if I hit 100 right now, then I'm definitely not launching on this day. But I've kept certain dates, or as I got closer to 100, I would kind of be aware of who was saying when they're launching.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll have to run that by Dave and Beluga. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure if it's on the Polygon Alliance Discord, but I think that's something good that we might have to bring up in discussion where we could kind of have maybe, even if it's just ballpark, like I plan on launching my project either the 13th or 14th and at this time of day. That way we're kind of not taking away from each other's projects and one isn't really, outperforming another. I think it'll give us a little bit of a boost as far as how projects work in Polygon. So I'm gonna run that by Dave and Beluga and see what they think. But I think that could be something that could really kind of help projects a little bit along the way. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a great idea. Like I have it in my head mainly, or I'll put it in my notes, but I've I've done it, several times already when I think I'm gonna hit 100, or when I see, people joining, I'm like, okay, 100's gonna come soon. So I start kind of listening in spaces when people are gonna launch, and I think it'd be a great idea.
We're kind of at the point with the Polygon community where it used to be a small group of people and now we're in the hundreds. So even if you don't think that anybody's gonna, be minting on that day, you never know. There probably is gonna be somebody on that day. So I think it's best if we kind of limit it and make sure that there's not 15 artists minting on the same day in order to kind of spread the love out a little bit. Were you a part of the Polygon Summit that they did on Spatial with Creative Owls? Were you in there?
The first one, no, I think it happened. when was it? New Year's, right? I missed that one because I was just kind of busy grinding and getting my name out there. And, like I said, it was all new to me. Think December, most of December, I kind of used to research and kind of get familiar of how you work Twitter. So I completely missed that one. And as far as the next one coming, which I think he said
April,
March 1st.
I think it's April 2nd. I don't know. I'd have to message Creative Owls, but
I,
um,
I'm almost certain it could be March 1st, but I could be wrong. But, I'm definitely keeping an eye out open for that one.
yeah. Are you planning on maybe getting your art up in the gallery on Spatial there so people could check out what you got going on? And also, have you considered maybe putting your art in any virtual galleries online?
Yes, for sure. I mess with Spatial a little bit. It's nice. I like it, but I do test other things, or my buddy does test different options. We just don't know how to, or he just doesn't know how to put, I guess, multiplayer into it. But he's done an art gallery and stuff like that, and he runs around it. But again, it's not multiplayer or anything. But yeah, I mean, definitely considered it and tested it, and definitely an option.
So, are you going to plan on doing some sort of minting party once you hit the 100 and decide what day you're going to do it? Are you going to do maybe like a 2 hour prior to mint and have your Twitter Spaces up here? And if so, do you need somebody to host it?
Yes, for sure. I wanted to touch. I know Dave has done them. I think that's the only one that I know of that does them all the time. But I was definitely going to touch base with him and see, if he can do it, or if we can do it, or you. It doesn't matter. I did want to do that, and that's why I said once I hit 100 members, I'm not just going to release. I kind of want to strategically plan of when this is going to happen.
So we're talking to Mr. Chief. Mr. Chief is the creator of Shlime Buddies. At 100 Discord members, he will be getting ready to launch his long-awaited project, and you guys are still slacking. I mean, I don't get it. Why can't we get on Discord, guys? Very, very simple task. Join the Discord channel, have a project launch, support your fellow Polygon artists. Not asking people to rob a bank, but let me digress. His website is Shlime Buddies, SHLIME Buddies.com. Project will be releasing very soon. If you guys have any questions for him, feel free to come up and ask him. If you want to give a shout out, feel free to come up and give a shout out. He's one of us, so let's show as much support as we possibly can. So let's talk about the rarity traits that you have built into your project. Now, is there a specific trait that is more rare than the others, or is it kind of just randomized?
No, not randomized. Just because I use the same heads, I think that's going to come into play as well as far as what's rare. But I definitely have items or characters that I plan on releasing, like, for example, kind of the ones that look like the Ninja Turtles or are the Ninja Turtles. I plan on releasing just the 4 and the 1,000. So that, or what looks like the Power Rangers, same thing. Same concept, the 5 or 6 and the 1,000. Some items will not come back other than that item, or other than one in that 1,000.
Is the one with the bomb for his head, is that inspired by Bomberman?
No, it was actually made on a mistake. I made the eyes and I liked how he was looking. So I was like, this kind of looks like a bomb, so I can just work through there.
So, what's been the hardest thing for you as far as like getting an NFT project up and running?
I don't know. I mean, the right answer, I guess, would be everything in a sense, because while you're doing it, it feels like it's hard, and then once you get it past like the halfway point and then everything kind of goes smooth and then it's like the contract and it's like that looks hard and it's, again, looking back now I could, spin up the contract in about 5 minutes, and get it deployed. I don't write the contract. I try to look for like templates and I read over them, make sure they're doing what I want them to do. But yeah, like I could deploy it probably in like 5 minutes, and the first one, took me several hours. So I think everything in that moment feels hard, but as of right now, what feels hardest to me is getting my name out there, getting the brand out there, being available in these Twitter spaces, and obviously building the Discord community seems pretty difficult right now.
Do you plan on dropping like a detailed roadmap for the project, or is it just kind of you gonna do things as they go? I know like a lot of projects have like these detailed roadmaps, like 10% we're doing this, 25% we're doing that, 50% we're doing this. Or you just kind of like I know you said you're gonna have it based on community, but is there any specific like points that you hit where you're gonna do something maybe a little bit different?
Not at the moment, only because I've talked to like Beluga and them, and they said their roadmap didn't come until I think Beluga just released his right not too long ago. So like they said it's okay as long as I communicate with the community. And like I said, I just don't want to overpromise and then not hit the mark. But I plan on doing certain steps, like you just said. When I hit 50% or something like that, it is something that I plan on doing, but definitely not over promising.
I don't really think it's super necessary to have a detailed roadmap. Personally, I mean, when I look at NFTs and like they're art based, I'm more concerned with the art first and foremost, and then I'm concerned about how strong their community is, and then we could worry about the rest as that goes on. I don't think that you have to make specific promises that 50% we're gonna do. One person gets a trip to Aruba. Like, I don't really
Right.
do that shit. I think that's kind of like it kind of takes away from the art to be quite honest with you. Like when you're doing all this other like randomized stuff in there, I really it doesn't turn me off, but I just think sometimes people try to take on too much, and it's just not necessary in the space.
Well, I think sometimes the primary concern is to rise hype and interest, right? So I don't know if these projects, like you just said, trips, vacations, 20K cash, if they ever deliver on this. But I think sometimes I look at it like they just want the hype and they just want the word out there, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it's really something that's necessary, and I think for I don't think it's so much anymore, but I think there was a point in time where it was almost necessary for a project to have some kind of like unique or badass utility in order to be a successful project. I don't think it's the case anymore, but there was a point in time where I think people were like, all right, well, CryptoPunks doesn't really have too much utility, but when you look at it, like it's selling for a lot. So now I need to make up for my newer project and add some crazy ass utility in it. So people like mine is set aside and it's looked at differently from these other projects. And I think it's just kind of like a waste of your creativity. I think artists are worrying too much more about stuff outside of their most important thing, and that's their art. And that's why I was saying like roadmaps. My favorite roadmap that I've seen so far, he's right down there, Sleepy Pirates. There's four things on his roadmap, and it's a beautiful thing when I look at it. He's like 25% I'm doing this, 50% I'm doing this, 75% I'm doing this, 100% I'm doing this. I don't even know if I'm going to do all this. And I was like, that's what I like to hear, man. Like just go as you go, and that's that. So how do you think, as a community, we could kind of get the word about NFTs out a little bit more efficiently?
As a community, you mean like what's an NFT in general, or general questions? Is that what you're asking? How do you get that information out?
Yeah, how could I have a like how could I have a conversation with somebody, let's say when I go to the supermarket, and make them know what an NFT is when we're waiting online to check out?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess in a sense, like a token that kind of lives forever in on the blockchain and cryptocurrency would be a good start. Yeah, I think that would be the good start to it. It never goes away. It's forever. It's like you have a Valentine's card. We'll say, if you want to give somebody a Valentine's card, then that image, that card will always be in your wallet and that will never go away.
Did you just steal my example? You must
I
have heard me say the Valentine's Day card before.
Maybe I could have, but like I said, I join a lot of spaces, so I get a lot of info.
That's kind of the example I use where, you know, you could save a birthday card that your kid made you, like, and see it 20 years down the line. And I think that's something cool because, like, I know, like, when I was a little kid, I would make my mom and dad like a birthday card with construction paper, and it would look like, like a little kid made it. And after they saw it, they would probably just throw it in the garbage. But now that's like a keepsake moment that they could go back and they could see 5 or 10 years from now, or they could use that when I get older and I get married. That could be something that could be a part of like the wedding, photo album. It could be like, oh, look at Dave when he was 8, and he made me this stupid ass Christmas card that looked like a piece of shit. But so your parents could embarrass you. I think that's what I'm really getting at. But I think it's a good way to go about it. I think we really need to kind of somehow figure out the education process. I don't know how we're going to go about it. Um, any ideas how we could kind of further the education process to make this a little bit easier for people to grasp?
Um, I think Twitter Spaces are they do the job a lot. Like I said, the first month I spent listening and researching. But one thing I only learned for the most part, not because there was a space specifically to teaching so much, but just from hearing everybody and kind of connecting the dots. What what I don't see much of is like 101s, just how to mint, how to set up a wallet, um, things like that. I think maybe less shell spaces and more 101s, or maybe like if you do spaces Monday through Friday, maybe dedicate a Wednesday just to get that 101 out there, that information out there.
Yeah, I think that's something that we were kind of considering, like kind of mixing up the format a little bit. Doing maybe AMAs 5 days a week and then 2 days a week doing something else. Like a week or two ago, we were kind of toying around with like a round table where we brought in different artists from different blockchains, people that are considering starting NFT projects, and we kind of sat there and kind of spitballed ideas. I think some good stuff came out of that. I think it also kind of opens up collaborations between people in different realms. I think the one uncharted territory. I mean, there are people doing it, but there's clearly not enough musicians in the NFT space right now. And I think if you have a project that doesn't necessarily have the utility that everybody is looking for, you could kind of collaborate with a musician and kind of combine forces and do like a Voltron thing. Then you have like your art, you got your music, or even like a poet, right? You could have a poet doing like spoken word poetry over a piece of photography that you have minted. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there that we're not really looking into at the moment.
Right, exactly. I can agree with all that. Like I said, it was just hard. In the beginning, it was super hard just finding anything on this. So I think a lot of 101s would definitely help. Maybe Sleepy Pirate could host, how to's.
Well, Sleepy Pirate, he has like the best of both worlds, right? Because he could play the guitar and he has his artwork. So he's really like a one man band over there. He could handle everything, whereas like somebody like myself, I can't do anything. So Sleepy Pirate is really like your go-to guy in the entire NFT space if you really need somebody. He must have his volume down. So,
He's probably sleeping.
yeah, he's probably knocked out. So, you said you were doing a collaboration with Beluga. Who else were you doing collabs with?
I did with Taco, Tribe, Ramen, uh, Beluga, and Jay's with the chickens.
That's awesome. So, did you get a good response out of those?
I think I messed up. I think I should have built my followers a little bit more and then release them. I think if I could go back and change anything, I think it would be focusing on Twitter and building the followers, joining spaces and stuff like that. And I think that the Discord members kind of would have fell into place. But I run a different Discord unrelated to this, so I was huge on Discord, So I think that, like I said, if I could go back and change something, I think it would be that, and then announce the collabs once I have, X amount of followers. But I think I did it super early on, and so there was not too much interest.
All right, so we're gonna kind of get to the end here. We're talking with Mr. Chief, the creator of the up and coming NFT project Shlime Buddies. Once his Discord hits 100, we're gonna get ready to launch this MFR. So if you haven't yet, please click his profile on Twitter. It's right in his bio. Join his Discord. Also follow him here on Twitter. Let's get the community, everybody following everybody. As Dave always says, that's a really big strength that we have, because then when somebody puts a tweet out or retweets, everybody sees it, and that's really what it's all about. That's how we grow a community. You can check out his website at shlimebuddies.com. It's SHLIME buddies.com. Looking forward to getting this mint up and running. So, my last question for you before we do wrap up is, where are Shlime Buddies going to be a year from today? And what are you looking forward to most as like your mid to long term goals?
Hopefully, hopefully sold out. Like like I said, whether I go with this project all the way or use this as a stepping stone and reward all my holders, I'm hoping I'm definitely sold on, and I'm in it for the long run.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to be doing fine. I mean, you're a very like approachable person, and I really love your artwork. I think it's great. I think it. I think everybody kind of relate to it. There's a piece of childhood for everybody. Myself, it's Ninja Turtles. Um, I I'm 38. Ninja Turtles were around when I was like 5 or 6, I believe. Um, and then you kind of appeal to an older crowd with, you're a younger crowd with your Pikachu's. I think that kind of came out when I was in my teens, somewhere around that area. And then you have cooler other art that's kind of like, you got the little pirates and the cows and the Power Rangers. So you're kind of hitting all bases. So I think it's really great, man. I want to thank you for coming out and talking to the community for about an hour. And yeah, if you need help anywhere along the way, you could always reach out to us. We're always here to try to help as many people as we can. If you ever need retweets, if you need us to kind of hype your project up a little bit, and if you're looking to do a mint party, once we get those 100 people in your Discord, just contact me, and we'll set up a day and a time, and we'll get the project pushing.
For sure. Thank you for having me. But where did you get on the matching game?
I couldn't finish it because I was trying to interview you and play the matching game, and I didn't want to be rude and miss a question.
I gotcha.
Once I play it after this Twitter space, I'll send you my score. All right?
For sure.
Well, once again, I want to thank you, man. Best of luck. Please follow Mr. Chief. Check out shlimebuddies.com. He's gonna be minting any day now, hopefully, and then we could have another Polygon artist added to the crew. I did message Dave while we were doing this, and he said he will set up a community calendar for everybody on Polygon, so we could kind of mint at different days throughout the month, and not everybody's kind of dumping the projects on the same day when we do our releases, so we could get a little bit more focus and attention to each project. That was a very good idea that you had there, and I think it's something that's really going to start benefiting people in the community. So I want to thank you for that. That was that's going to be a big help to a lot of people. So
I'm glad it's moving forward with the idea.
Yeah, sounds great, man. So once again, thank you. Thank you for everybody for coming out to the spaces. Check out Mr. Chief. Follow him here on Twitter. Get in his Discord. We need 100 people to get this party started. Check out shlimebuddies.com. It's right up top there. SHLIME buddies.com. Minting's going to start very soon. Tomorrow we have a fantastic guest coming on with us. We have Comards. He's right down there. He will be talking with us tomorrow, talking about charity work that him and his business partner do. Really looking forward to talking to him about planting trees, doing some great stuff for the earth, trying to reduce our carbon footprint. I want to thank you all for coming out, taking the time out of your day to listen to me talk. My dog obviously smells a skunk outside. We're going to go beat up a skunk. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.